Three more states have been added to the coronavirus travel advisory. This requires travelers from these states to self-quarantine for 2 weeks once they arrive here in New York. Many of these states are completely reopened. Our region has gone through all the phases of reopening, but we're still waiting on some larger venues to open up. Kayla Green talked to Monroe County Health Commissioner Michael Mendoza about safe travel during this time and when we may see everything open again.
Dr. Michael Mendoza says when it comes to places like malls, movie theaters, and gyms, it may be more risky because of how people interact in those spaces.
I don't think the nature of interactions in Wegmans are that high risk. I think people tend to sort of go in and buy their things and move on. But in gyms, it's a different kind of interaction.
Dr. Mendoza says we know COVID-19 is primarily transmitted through person-to-person contact, something that typically happens in places like malls or gyms.
We know that it's primarily person-to-person. We know that it's primarily indoors relative to outdoors. We know it's primarily when you have people in close proximity for extended period of times, particularly those who are not wearing a mask.
He says at the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't know the importance of wearing masks to prevent asymptomatic transmission. Now, masking is key to keeping our positive cases down. But to eliminate it completely, Dr. Mendoza says he thinks a vaccine is our best bet.
At what point can we say that the public is immune enough that we can let our guard down? And we are a long way from that.
Right.
You know, to be able to get to that level, you know, without a vaccine would unfortunately require a lot of people getting sick. And that's not a place that we want to go back to.
Dr. Mendoza says there were 100 positive COVID-19 cases in Monroe County this past weekend. 25% of those traveled here from other states.
Florida, Tennessee, Arizona are up there, a number of other areas. New York City isn't a state, but it does represent travel. And so we're not just looking at the states because, frankly, every other state has a higher prevalence than we do right now. So we're following travel of all kinds.
Dr. Mendoza says at the end of the day, it's not so much the location you're in, but how people are interacting and following guidelines. In Rochester, Kayla Green, News 8.
Kayla, thank you. The Memorial Art Gallery in Rochester reopens to the general public tomorrow. The gallery has been open to members since June 27th. New safety measures are in place because of the pandemic. They include physical distancing, limited admission, universal masking, and enhanced cleaning protocol.